Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. I actually consider myself a pretty disciplined person. When it comes to negative videos, tweets, or comments made about me or my community, I tend to ignore them 99% of the time, no matter how slanderous or annoying they might be, because the people making them are mainly looking for attention. But every once in a while, I cut myself a break and allow myself to talk about situations where someone pushes it too far. So here's the main protagonist of today's video. This dollar store Leafy clone spent his weekend making 3 videos, all of which calling me, some of my friends, and my entire community pedophiles. And disclaimer before we continue, do not look up their channel or videos. I say that for 2 reasons. Number 1, they want attention, and after squeezing out a few thousand views across 3 videos, they probably made around $10. So let's not make that $10.50, okay? Number 2, it's like watching commentary NASCAR with this dude going around in circles for 20 minutes. It would be a form of punishment sending you guys there. So you probably guessed it already, but the core message of his commentary trilogy is lolicon equals pedophilia. And lolicon being a term that he admitted he didn't even know the definition of until his 3rd and final video, but still felt comfortable enough calling people predators over the term during his previous 2 videos and on Twitter. And now I want to play a clip. It's the only clip I'm going to play from his videos, and it's one that speaks volumes about the kind of person we're dealing with.
I have more respect for actual pedophiles because at the end of the day, actual pedophiles don't try to hide behind victimization and bullshit logic to say that they aren't a pedophile.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this dude admits he has more respect for actual pedophiles than lolicons. And by consequence of his words, this means he has respect, at least some respect, for pedophiles. And while he holds a level of respect for pedophiles, I think I speak on behalf of my community and anyone watching this video when I say I have 0 respect for pedophiles. I just want to make that clear. So for the entirety of the first 2 videos, he goes in circles stating over and over again that lolicons are pedos and liking lollies is an attraction to children, the same type of attraction real pedos have, and of course, his proof, well, literally nothing. He even admitted he was in the process of looking for proof to back up his claims, all while he still felt comfortable enough calling me and my community the worst thing imaginable based on what he might find in a future Google search to back up his opinion. And at the conclusion of his first 2 videos, he was getting absolutely dusted on his tweets promoting them. The ratios, the burns, the absolute deconstruction of his entire videos and the character limits of single tweets was so brutal, it was actually hard to watch. I've seen Onision get more support on his tweets than this guy. And to clarify, I didn't do anything. I never replied or brought attention to any of this, despite everyone in the world tagging me and DMing me links of his spurgouts. And at that point, he continued to slander lolicons, refused to engage with anyone about the topic, delete YouTube comments disagreeing with him, and even going as far as calling anyone who dared disagree with him a pedo as well. This man is not watering down the term pedo, he is straight up drowning it. A disturbing act that I'm sure actual pedos would thank him for, because the tactic of flinging this term at consumers of fictional content, or even people who simply disagree with you, is way too common on social media, and it makes people increasingly hesitant to take this accusation seriously when it's so heavily misused, something that hurts real victims, by the way. But finally, we've reached the 3rd installment of this trilogy, and this time, he brought out the big guns, the proof that everyone had been asking for. He cited the goddamn Protect Act. Now, if you're a fan of this channel or Hero Hey or anyone from this community, I'm sure you audibly laughed hearing that name. So I regret to inform this guy that the provisions of the Protect Act of 2003 regarding drawings and art were ruled unconstitutional for being overly broad. This ruling was made almost 2 decades ago. The existing federal standard in the United States requires that the drawing or animation be indistinguishable from a real-life child. The only real and rare application of that largely involves deepfakes using faces and bodies of children, which I'm sure we can all agree is CP and the abuse of children. Now, you've probably been wondering, what is my connection to all this and why am I the focus of this whole thing? Well, this has to do with an argument he made up for me, one that he repeats over and over. And it's that I want to stop people from calling lolicon degenerate, which, if you've watched any of my videos about this topic, I begin every single one with the same disclaimer that it is entirely valid and understandable to find the topic of lolicon or lollies gross, disgusting, immoral, and so on. And you have every right to call people who consume that degenerates. The point I'm making when I cover this topic is that nobody should be called a pedophile for their interest in fictional characters, since there are no real children being victimized, as well as the absence of any convincing evidence to suggest a connection between the consumption of lolicon towards an attraction to real-life children, which is hardly surprising given the fact that no sane person would find any resemblance between a bug-eyed anime lolly and a real child. In his third video, our protagonist falsely reiterates that lolicon is illegal in the United States based on the PROTECT Act. But curiously enough, he comes to the conclusion that while some would call lolicon degenerate, it doesn't make someone a pedo for consuming it without any further proof that they have an interest in children or harming actual children. A point that I agree with. That is my well-known stance on the subject, since there is no evidence to suggest a real inherent connection between interest in lolicon and interest in harming real children. But despite his heart-wrenching realization and apology on the matter, it's hard to take him seriously when the thumbnail of his videos have the word pedo in it and are still up and live at this time. Besides the fact that by his own admission, his previous two videos calling me and anyone in my community pedophiles for defending lolicon was uncalled for, those two previous videos and all the related tweets are still up and live for anyone to see. And while Leafy had no chin, at least he had a spine. So I think it's fair to ask someone who clearly aspires to be like him to take ownership of their L's. And I don't know what it is with small commentary channels, but making scuffed rants about my channel seems to be an initiation rite. And today's case serves as another example that all of those attempts blow up in their face. Because let's face it, what are you exposing? That I think lolicons aren't pedos? Any viewer of my content already knows how I feel about that. Again, I get that this topic makes people uncomfortable or grossed out. It's completely valid to feel that way, but it doesn't justify making unfounded accusations against people, especially on a topic you don't even understand in the first place. And look, I know I'm ragging on him with the whole Walmart Leafy clone thing, but I do like seeing someone who genuinely enjoys uploading, which I think this guy actually does. And normally I wouldn't care what someone does with their content, but there are videos that have consequences. And I've done this for a long time and I've made mistakes, but the difference is that I've acknowledged them. Free word of advice to this guy or any content creator watching this: viewers appreciate sincerity. You can royally mess up with a video, but if you admit you messed up and own it, you might end up with more respect than you came into that situation with. It's kind of hard to take your admissions that you got some things wrong seriously when your video has pedo in the thumbnail and all the previous videos and tweets are still live and spreading some truly vile stuff. And listen, if taking true ownership and admitting your mistakes gets you clowned on in your community, then you reap what you sow, because that's the kind of community that you have fostered with your content. He said this is their last video on the subject, and while I'm not sure if that's true, I do know this is my last video involving this situation. Again, do not engage with their videos or their accounts. We're moving on here. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.